Welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rook with Scott Varilek of Kooima, Varilek. Well, grains in negative territory this morning. Cattle market started off a little lower, but has since moved back into the green, and the hogs are in the green as well. Okay, Scott, key reversals in those nearby live cattle contracts yesterday on some very bullish news. And what do you think here? It looks like we're trying to recover today. We've had some better cash. So can we negate yesterday's reversals?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. And it's what a week in the cattle market. You have this big up on Tuesday. We can start there, and everybody wants to know what's the reason, why are we up so much, and there really wasn't one. We didn't have a story. Everybody's asking around. A little follow through Wednesday, and then the news comes out. Thursday morning we all come in knowing that the Mexican border is closed, and then you also throw Brazil tariffs on Brazil for August 1 of 50%. It's like, okay, these are two big stories, very bullish. Right. So we did shoot higher, only to have all of the buy the rumor, sell the fact kind of news. We met a lot of sellers. So big reversal lower. It's trading very scared. I think we're all having a hard time trying to trade it. These Fridays, you're feeling thankful that, hey, I can get a couple of days off of this herky-jerky market. But there are some reasons that you alluded to that I think we're fighting this off, and cash being one of them.
Yeah, let's talk about what cash is doing so far here. We all kind of expected after a steady week last week on that weighted average, it could be steady to better, and you're getting that, aren't you, today?
Yeah, the cash has been what's bailed this market out time and time again over the last year, and still is the case. So we can break the futures, and we can have people trying to pick a top. I don't know how many times people are trying to say the top's in, the high's in. Everybody knows that there's risk to the downside on this market. Yes, big risk. We're really high. We know it. But with all of these bullish stories continuing to come in, it just keeps them going higher. And cash feeders, we can start with that. They are bonkers high. We've got record high futures prices, and we've got prices being sold yesterday that are well above where the futures are still. So it's been crazy high. Then you look at the live cattle side, are they going to follow through? Just today, we have 238 bids coming in this morning, already raised to 240, getting near all-time highs on those as well. And wow, we have producers saying, wow, this is amazing. So it's just, that's how tight we are. That keeps coming back, and the futures just have to respect it. I mean, when you're $20 below your cash bid you're getting, I don't know that you're finding a lot of people lining up to sell it, to follow through, because there was a key reversal lower. I mean, so I think you get a little pressure from it, but in all reality, we still have these bullish stories just kicking right in.
Yeah, and that feeder cattle cash index is at record levels too, isn't it?
Yes, it sure is. I mean, that 321 is amazing, but when you're hearing, all these northern cattle prices, I mean, it's that time again where some group of cattle sell for a price at this sale barn, and it just gets circulated around. Did you see? Did you hear? And that's what's happening. I get them all day long, messages and texts, and even my mother texting me, did you hear what these cattle brought in Kimball the other day? So yeah, it's everybody's watching, all eyes, and it's jaw dropping how high that they're getting.
Yeah, I want to follow up on one of the positives that you talked about, and that is that the border's closed now to Mexican imports for we don't know how long, because of another case of NWS, or New World screwworm, closer to the U.S. border. How long until we start to see the market trade fear NWS will get into the U.S.?
That's an excellent question, and a question that we're fielding already. And so we're all having to try to become experts on New World screwworm and what the effects are going to be. So here's how we have to digest this all. I mean, the border was expected to be closed through the year. Pressure from production industry said, hey, we need those cattle. The market really wants them in here, so tried to pull it ahead, only to last a couple of days, and we're shut again. So it's moving north. A lot of thoughts are not if, it's when. It's just going to get here. That it has not, we don't have enough sterile flies working yet. that it's just going to come. And you can find other instances. You and I had talked before this that, it's been in the United States, in Florida, in some deer. There's other animals that carry it. So just stopping the livestock coming across the border, does that actually fix the problem? Is it going to make it here anyway? So the possibilities are that it could be here. So if it does get here, what are we going to do? The initial is uncertainty, because we're not sure. How is the Johnny consumer going to take this? How's the media going to spin it? Is it going to be really negative? It doesn't actually affect anything on meat. There's not any problems with the product that we have. It's a production issue, major production issue. So actually the long-term part of it is bullish, but that initial scare, I would imagine it just lower, just because we don't know, how the consumer is going to take it. And if it takes it okay, then yeah, it can turn into a bullish. So normal waves, ups and downs that we're used to, I guess, Michelle.
Yeah. One thing we should point out, because of the border being closed, have even tighter supplies of feeders down in Texas. Placements have been down, but weights are going up as a result, right? They're feeding them heavier.
Yes, weights are very heavy in the South. Formula traded cattle, that's what the South is. So the packer can back them up, put more pounds on them. It works for the producer at a cheaper cost of gain. But that's when packer has control over all of those cattle, they can do that. They can manage that weight. So to the effect that we're 75 pounds over the 5-year average on weights, that's a lot of pounds. So in the emergency cattle situation, they can use those cattle to push them back. They'd rather run slower, put more weight on those cattle. So that's what they can do. Whereas you have northern traders saying, hey, 240, I'm crazy if I start passing this kind of price. I'm going to cash it in. So the two different attitudes that we have there.
Right. Okay, hogs back up here today, and we continue to see the market, pretty well supported here on breaks, especially when the cattle market takes off here. But you still think it's a supply issue right here that's driving this?
That's where I'm at. And yeah, it's odd, hogs finding just a little sideways range in a small range. That's odd in itself for hogs. Usually moving the needle a little faster than this, especially at being at a pretty high price, 106, 107 kind of range. But sitting here in July and hearing that we're still having to pay $95 for feeder pigs, that's just astronomical high. That is not normal that we have that high of a price for feeder pigs right now. So I think it's still a very large issue. The disease issue is real. It is still rampant, and we usually do not have this much kind of issues with it, for this long of a period of time. So supply is still going to hang over. There's still some demand arm wrestling that's happening, with all the tariff talk, and hogs are really reliant on that business. And now Canada getting tariffed on what they can send to China. So there's some demand issues that are there, but the supply issue is just pretty real to me. And that's the news that I hear quite a bit more from. So still trying to feel like we're friendly on that kind of news there.
Right. And the funds are still record long as of last Tuesday. So we'll see if they continue to defend there. You mentioned the tariff issue, Scott, and it feels like the grains ahead of the WASDE report coming up are kind of trading a little bit of risk off with the announcement of maybe 35% tariffs on Canada, even though it's non-USMCA compliant.
It's just more, heavy news. I mean, that tariff news is not going away. We're, several months into tariffs. I think we're all a little bit, getting sick of hearing it, but all of that news is just negative enough to say, hey, that's still a little bit hungover, that we're not getting towards more deals and getting there faster. So just kind of weighs on the markets in general, because we know the crop that we're raising. We know it's going to be big. Just feels like it's a slam dunk right now that we're there. It's no worries, in the growing. So we need that demand news, and that's not the kind of demand news that's fueling this market. So I think it just kind of slowly oozing lower with very small chances for this thing to boost higher.
Yeah, even if we got some bullish news out of the report today, would we even trade it, or how long would we trade it?
I don't think we would trade it very long, because if it would be bullish, I think we just move right along. I don't know. I think there's enough people now that are, ready to say that this crop's just so big. I think that weighs in it. It's the time of the year where everybody's got a cousin that's got a truck that drove somewhere and saw something, and it just sounds like all the reports are from South Dakota, drove all the way to Ohio. I mean, never saw a bad field. So we've got a monster coming, and we're going to have to decide how low this market can go. But I think even as an end user standpoint, you also know that as well. So you don't have to worry about trying to cover your upside needs. What's it going to rally on? Not real sure. It's hand to mouth kind of buying. So oozing lower looks like an easy path for me.
Yeah, and we've had some demand coming in here with some flash sales on exports because we're at such a low level, but it's failing to move the market because weather's just been too darn good. So,
and it is a low level, but Mexico does that, grain report days. They jump in ahead of those reports and buy that. So that's almost a normal for them.
That's true. All right. Thanks so much, Scott Varilek with Kooima Varilek. That is Markets Now.